But before we got to brag on her a little bit. Tennion is someone I appreciate. Now, I'm going to tell you this for sure. Trevor, in the beginning, when we first started this whole thing out, we was trying to find, who we going to bring on the show and stuff like that. People was making moves in Knoxville. And he said, man, we got to get, Tennion. I said, yeah, what about it? I know who Tennion is. I went to school with her. He said, man, we got to get on the show. Like, for what? Talk to me. What we need to bring on for? He said, oh, man, you ain't heard about the Renaissance Project and all? I said, oh, yes. You're right. We got to get Tennion on. Mm-hmm. And not only that, Tennion on the phone calls with governors. Mm-hmm. She making conversations with big time decision makers.
She big time, man. I've been watching from a distance too. I've been watching close.
Watching it from North Carolina.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, Tennion, can you answer this question for us? What's up with the orangutan loose on I-75? What's up with the tigers being loose? Lions, tigers, and bears. Oh my. What's up with that?
I have no explanation for what's going. I just say it's 2020. Anything goes.
I mean, you got stuff. You got airplanes on the interstate. Airplanes just driving on the interstate. You got, zebras loose on Sutherland. You know what I'm saying?
I really don't believe that the tiger thing was real. I think everybody's just burned out.
I thought I seen some pictures of it. You know what? People can't Photoshop. Because Trevor a beast on the Photoshopping, so he might have put that tiger on the interstate.
Yeah.
Trevor put the tiger on the interstate.
Well, Tenny, tell us a little bit about what you got going though with the development and all that. Tell us a little bit about the Renaissance. It's the Renaissance Project. Excuse me if I'm saying it wrong. Tennessee Renaissance.
No, so Knoxville Renaissance. Oh. It was started with my best friend and business partner Nikki Frank James Fryer's sister.
Oh, James Fryer.
2016, 2017. Yeah, Nikki Frank. Nikki Fryer is her maiden name. But we were sitting at lunch one day at Taste of Thai and just thinking about the wheel. We all get on the wheel and just can sometimes be desensitized around what's going on. She helped me she was my real estate agent as well, helped me buy my first house. And with the different difficulties as a Black single parent, trying to buy a home, it was just very interesting from the, complications with the lenders and just different things. And, I've had several discussions with people about it, and they're like, you think it's because of your race? And it's funny, the disbelief that people don't understand that we experience as Black people. But
I know you was Black.
And talking. I'm super Black and proud of it. And, so we were talking about different disparities and different things that we as the Black community fall victim to, and how we have to kind of help ourselves and stop looking at some of these outside agencies, stop looking at some of these outside resources, looking at the conditions of government assistance. And that's part of my testimony as a single mom, had to take advantage of resources. And I really saw some of the disconnect between social service workers and me personally in my experience, and just how desensitized some of them were. So my senior year at UT did a whole study around social worker burnout and why that is. And we came to talking about that. And we learned, a lot of families become generationally dependent upon food stamps, become generationally dependent upon public housing, become generationally dependent upon these systems that are put in place to oppress. I think that, So originally, I think some people get into these systems as far as social services workers thinking, I'm going to help somebody, right? Mm-hmm. And then they realize that this is a system that's put in place that they can't help somebody. When you look at child support and you look at the whole system of that, and a lot of times government assistance, a person, Black, white, or other, can't even have a spouse in the house to receive help.
And that's why a lot of people we know
that are in place that are.
But there's a lot of people we know though. But there's a lot of people we know, Tenny, the reason why they even got both parents in the household, but then the daddy claimed that he's not there. So this guy could be paying child support for his kids, and he living in there with his kids.
Yeah. But I mean, because they still need the resources. So Knoxville Renaissance, like we were talking, I mean, my own experience, my own testimony, making $40,000 a year and still being short on stuff. And it came to a place where we were like, how do we help those people who don't necessarily meet the income or even the standards that can't receive government assistance in certain ways? So we were like, how do we help people who are educated or have these $60,000-$80,000 a year or more jobs who don't know how to give back? You know, it's a hodgepodge of all of it. We just sat there talking about it all. And we were like, you know, Knoxville Renaissance, people are scared of the word revolution.
Oh, yeah. So you're going to get put out the house.
Right. But we need a renaissance, and we need a renaissance in the Black community. And we had this bigger idea that, yeah, we want to start with Knoxville, but we want it to grow across Black communities around the country. And really, it's a lot of stuff that it needs to happen around the world when it comes to people of color. And our mentalities have to change. We have to help each other. And, you know, we have to figure out ways to make more Black people homeowners, make more Black people business owners, make more Black people have less of a struggle to get things that should be easy.
But does it come a point? But does it come a point where a person have to bring it up, really want that for themselves? Because that's what happens. We always want to make sure that, hey, you know, we got to help the Black man or Black woman, everything like that. But then it comes down to a point. Like me and Trevor had this conversation yesterday about politics and politicians and all that stuff. And I was talking to him about, you know, we're always willing to blame that the politician didn't come to us. But if you didn't know, these forums are wide open to anyone to come to and attend, and you can ask anybody any question you want. Sometimes you got to actually be wanting to search for it. So my thing is, now I can see why people can get burnt out. I'm sure that's why you come up with seeing why people can be burnt out with civil service. You know, as you keep doing it, you find out you're not getting no money for it. You know, and then, but it's a calling. But then my thing is, do you and Miss Fryer or, you know, James' sister have how can you actually want to make sure that everybody wants to do it when there's some people they don't want it?
It's mentality. And that's what it comes down to is what is your mindset and how do you framework it?
Mindset.
So when we started planning Knoxville Renaissance and what we see, if you look at some of our earlier business plans, we were saying, you know, if we can help individuals realize their mentality about it, you don't want your daughter or your grandchild to be, I guess, what's the word I'm looking for?
Marginalized?
Caught on that wheel.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It's in that same system. So it's down to mentality. And what we started doing earlier on is let's start a community group, which you'll see our Facebook page, Knoxville Renaissance, which has been up for several years now. And we had a couple of meetings with the community, you know, getting people engaged with the voting process, understanding, you know, how can we make an impact on people individually? We were able to help people with mortgage assistance and, you know, all of this has kind of been out of pocket, helping people with KUB if they're make too much to use some of the resources in the community. But one of the other blessings is that we were able to connect with individuals and I hate to say mentor because some of the women were older than us and it was predominantly, it was all women. I think Nikki had a male mentor, but we were not looking at it as a mentor relationship, but it was partnering with these people, praying with these individuals, knowing that the only way, like you're saying, Troy, for anybody to change is to have that desire to change. So that's one little thing that we did. And as God grew this mission, it turned into us looking at East Knoxville, looking at community development, understanding that through some of our other professional careers, getting into manufacturing facilities, getting into housing developments, and learning that some of these situations that in housing aren't really up to par. And it's not that they're living in slums or anything of that nature, but it's not creating that mindset. I want to be a homeowner. You know, people are afraid to make more because they have to pay more.
Yeah, of course. Trevor, did we not talk about that?
Yeah, we was talking about that yesterday, last night.
So
when the bigger picture is,
go ahead, finish that picture out.
No, well, when the bigger picture is, Trevor and Troy, it's that when someone, essentially, if you're pouring all that money into, let's say you live in subsidized housing or assisted housing or whatever, you're pouring all that money into that and you don't get any equity, you don't get any home ownership, you don't get any pride in what you've built. And it's how can we educate these people and create opportunities where, if someone is in a position to pay anything, that they're paying into something that they will own in the end. So we've got a lot of plans. I don't want to everything.
Yeah.
So it segued into Knoxville Renovation Services, where our mission is to provide education on home ownership and commercial development in East Knoxville and in Black communities around Knoxville, because that's another stigma, that Black community is only East Knoxville, when really the community is everywhere. There's Black pockets, and historically there have been Black communities all over Knoxville, not just East Knoxville. But we want to create opportunities for at least 100 families who maybe are in subsidized housing become homeowners, or those who are at risk of losing their homes. We can save those, eliminate the opportunity for homelessness, and foreclosures. How can we identify those people? Which COVID kind of threw a wrench in our plans for this spring. So,
but what you saying though,
to really canvas and.
What you saying though, Tennion, is that you got a lot of stuff you're trying to do, but more importantly, you got to change.
Holistic.
But you got to change. But you got to change the mindset though.
It's the mindset first, I think.
That's the first thing. That's the challenge you're gonna be dealing with. That's the first thing. We ain't gonna hold you up, but Trevor, go ahead, Trev.
Like what I heard though, I know that Nikki, she has a real estate license.
Sorry, my son.
It's all good. Tell him I said what's up.
Like
he's trying to go to a birthday party.
Nikki has a real estate license, so like people wanting home ownership or whatever, she can tell people the benefits of home ownership, and I think that should drive them more to be like, you know what I mean? Because I got real estate license also, so it should drive them more to want to do better. Like, since they know, like, if I own this home and I have equity in this home, or you don't even have to buy a home. To be honest, you can buy like a commercial place and live in that commercial place and run a business out of it and come up that way.
But man, so I do money. I give the money.